So we played regular twin last week with Deepway Navigator as the new twinnable card. Of course, this is also a Merfolk Lord. This is whenever this creature or whenever you attack with 3 or more Merfolk, they get +1/+1. Enters, untap all Merfolk. So it is interesting. It is interesting to to try it in more of a Merfolk shell. I think there's a couple other good Merfolk cards. We're only playing beyond Deepway Navigator, though. We're playing Sygg. I like Sygg. When this enters or transforms, it gives a creature whenever he deals combat damage, draw a card. You can pay white to give something protection from a color of your choice till next turn. This is kind of a good source of card advantage, which is something that the Merfolk archetype is kind of sorely missing. Now, one thing that's also kind of exciting about playing the Merfolk in general in the twin combo is you have a lot of ways to protect your combo. So you have Unsettled Mariner to give everything Ward 1. You have Hexcatcher to counter non-creature spells, and then Svyelun also gives your Merfolk Ward 1. In theory, Sygg could also protect from twin, or protect your twin combo, so you could like transform it, give a Deepway Navigator that's already in play protection from white if you want to play Solitude, and if that resolves, then you could twin. I don't know how big a deal that is. I'm not playing Curse Catcher, though. I think Curse Catcher isn't great. It's not bad. When you're playing Hexcatcher, it's a bit weird too, because you all your Merfolk are kind of Curse Catchers, although we're not playing a lot of Merfolk. Oh, it's I thought it was from one color. Okay, so never mind. It doesn't work then. Obviously not a big deal for the deck. So we're also playing Sygg's command. This is the Merfolk command. I think it's the most pushed for modern of all of them. You can make a copy of a Merfolk you control. Now, one thing that's unfortunate is that our best Merfolk, Sygg and Svyelun, are both legendaries. So that doesn't work. But copying an Unsettled Mariner or a Hexcatcher or even a Deepway Navigator all seem fine. You could draw a card, you could give creatures lifelink, and you can also tap a creature, put a stun counter on it. Not sure exactly how that ability will play. We'll see. Now, also, all of our Merfolk are wizards, I believe. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure on Sygg. Or Svyelun's not a Merfolk. Svyelun is a god. But we have a 21 and 2-mana wizards for Flame, so great Flame of Anor deck. Now, you may notice that we're not playing Aether Vial. I think there's maybe a little bit of a conversation between Prismatic Ending and Aether Vial. That being said, we're a Splinter Twin deck. We are playing Flame of Anor, playing Sygg's Command. We have a lot of non-creature spells in the deck anyways. And I do think that we want the Prismatic Endings pretty badly to complement the Flame of Anor Sygg plan to kind of just play to the board a bit better. Is my current thinking. I think this is not a super good Aether Vial deck compared to most Merfolk builds that you would have seen in the past. Let's see, is there much else? And possibly a Sacred Foundry is important to play, but I'm a little bit nervous to. You know what? Sorry, I guess I'm looking at it just a little closer. I feel like we maybe just should have the Sacred Foundry. Let's try it for now. Yeah, the problem with Wanderwine Hub is that we're playing a double red spell. But Merfolk players are very funny because they're like, we're playing 2-mana 2/2 Lord your creatures in 2026. But for me, I'm just like, I'm like literally never registering those cards ever again. Is where I'm at with them. Should have played Mariner in the Elemental deck, maybe. I do think Mariner is very good. So they grab a Visa. We're probably playing against a Brood Scale. I think I'd like to hold up either Navigator or Hexcatcher. If we rebuild with Aether Vial, the Lord of Master Command. Yeah, or maybe more so if this turned into a do I play Navigator or Hexcatcher? Probably play a Hexcatcher. Just tax K commands. If this turned into not a twin build, then yeah, we could talk about some more. Although I think I'm just playing Navigator Hexcatcher, and I'm not going to play more than that as far as Lords go. So maybe a little punish for not playing the Navigator since we drew the twin. I feel like having your plan B be fast and aggressive is more important. They're usually removal magnets, which can deviate removal from twin targets. I mean, I think the removal magnet target falls a little short, where Mariner is like insane, is much better against removal spells. But I at the very least, I'm saying I think Lord of Atlantis, Masterpool Trident are completely unplayable, and I would just never play them in Merfolk in any build. Is where I'm at. I think that you have access now to two other lords, Hexcatcher and Deepway Navigator, with more utility, flash, and that just matters so much more than these like really vanilla creatures. But that's where I am at. I'm just I want to make it clear I'm very very low on these cards. I do think Deeproot Pilgrimage could be a build. I just again don't think it's the twin build. All right, they chose Vista and they play a Blade, so we need to be a little bit worried about a Brood Scale. I don't have my fourth land. I think I'm probably just gonna try to top deck the twin here, or the red sorcerer twin. Nikachu trophy with 6 lords and 3 hexcatcher. I mean, I think that's fine. I don't think that really sways me very much. Did you watch the video and were the lords good? You know that I think that data would make more sense. I'm obviously willing to be wrong, of course. I can't play Mutavaults in this build. No, there's no way. Okay, we are dead. Root Scale is always a little bit weird to sideboard against. Like, we have the Flames, so I don't feel like we want the Meltdown so much. I don't know if we want the Fire Magics. I kind of like the Hexcatchers. I think the Mariners aren't doing a ton here. Probably want the first copy of Meltdown. So probably play the Subtleties. Isn't Blue Flare a good card here? No, Blue Flare is not good unless you're sacking things that have ETB for for card advantage basically, or card replacement. Otherwise, you're just 2-for-1ing yourself in not a super mana efficient way. Well, it is a bit unfortunate Sygg isn't super good with Sygg's command. I think I'm gonna mulligan this. Ugh, no lands. All right, on 5. Try to refill with the Sylvoon, I guess. Possible that Sygg is one that just isn't good in this build, but could be better in a regular Merfolk build too. I was kind of torn on, do you start with like regular Merfolk build or do you start with Twin, and decided this looked a bit better. So my opponent fetched a waste main phase and then they did nothing, which is a bit interesting. I'm going to go ahead and just play my Sygg, I guess. They consider Wanderwine Hub at all? I thought about it, and I'm like, I'm playing a double red card in the deck. Wanderwine Hub seems worse than fetch lands. Okay, happy enough to trade that. Well, I've got the Sylvoon here. Twin for the click slow. I know it might seem that way. We 4-1 with Twin on last week. I think it actually we're just in a position where we are genuinely trying to. I mean, I'm never just doing things for the clicks anyways, but I am trying to figure out how good Twin is and what the best build is. Twin has also gone good like not even just the last time we played it. Like it went pretty well the time before. I thought it looked pretty good last week. So I'm gonna cast a Myco Spawn here. Hopefully they're not on a Turbo Emrakul draw, I guess. They have 6 mana right now. I really wish Sygg's command could copy the legendary Merfolk. Well, I guess since I have literally nothing else to do, I'm going to play an embarrassing Sygg's command. I mean, I could Prismatic Ending the token. We could still Prismatic End the token. I think I'm going to hold it. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying they've been liking Emptiness in the Oculus shells. We'll get around to it. Oh yeah, they probably think I have Harbinger in the deck, which we can't really fit. Well, I'll definitely feeling the multi-5. I think we're pretty cooked here. I mean, we could just top deck Twin combo piece. Yeah, I think I'm just kind of all in on finding that. All right, well, let's attack, draw a card, and then maybe I'll Flame of Anor, kill Ice Till if they double block. It said they'd chump block, which is interesting. So now I could go Ice Till, draw 2, kill. Sorry, 1 mana Tideshaper just for a wizard. And then I could go kill the Ice Till and then draw 2 and then try to find a land for Blade to kill the Blade. Or I could just kill the Blade and be scared. I think that we're so behind I'm going to need to just draw 2 probably. It feels like we're making a little bit of a comeback here. So I do draw a land, but it's an Otawara. I'll go ahead and play the Otawara. My deck was the Blink Shell. I think you go hard and knock us off. Yeah, I mean, I've heard like several different versions that play Emptiness Oculus, and I liked Emptiness when we were playing the deck today. I thought it looked better than I expected it to, and definitely had positive feelings about it from after today. So they woodland their Ice Till. Definitely is a sign that they're kind of flooded. Maybe we're going to win this game on the Mulda 5 after all. They graveyarded Emrakul, which is a bit of a disaster, if you will, since they can kill me with it next turn. And they also mill a Basking Brood-Scale, which could combo with the Blade. So I guess we need to draw a second Tideshaper to deal with the Shifting Woodland. Do I have any other outs? Doesn't look that way. All right, we'll give them the credit here. Okay, actually, I think that we need to rebuild the mana. There was at least 1 point game one where I really wanted the Sacred Foundry, I think. And then we don't have any double blues, so we need to rebuild the mana base. Sorry about that. Not a huge rebuild, but Twin on the Tideshaper. You have to this is a kicker, so Twin on Tideshaper doesn't let you get the woodland there. So I think I should be cutting either third basic island or third steam vents. Let's go third basic island. Yeah, I agree. It does think that Tideshaper is no longer this really good piece against Urza Saga. Still like okay against it, I guess, but only situationally. Just decided to start here. If like I would go -4 Tideshaper, -2 command, -2 flame, +4 vial. Right? I'm not going to do that, but you can. Cutting Tideshaper is really weird too, because then like all of a sudden you just have no 1-drop for your Sygg. I feel like having 1-drops for the Sygg feels kind of important to me. So you can go 1-drop Sygg, draw a card. As far as the commands go, I agree they might just be bad, but I think I just want to test them a little bit more. Yeah, no 1-drops is also kind of bad with Hexcatcher too. One last try before I got to go in a minute. Here's my take on the best of both worlds. This card kind of surprises me to see. Maybe it's okay. Playing Harbinger in the main deck of your twin deck seems like madness. Madness isn't the worst thing ever. Yeah, like look at this. You're playing 2 of this and only 2 Svyelun. Svyelun is just a better card draw spell, and it's also like protects your combo pieces too. That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? I don't think the flare. I guess you're playing this Overkill. I guess could be okay. I mean, I haven't played much with Mindspring Merfolk. When I've played against it, I haven't exactly felt like it looked all that good, but could be better than I think. So we could go double Deepway Navigator this turn, or we could play a 3-drop. Double Deepway Navigator is kind of cool. with Sygg's command too. Can get a big lifelink swing, and then also just lets us top deck twin. I like Sygg in a not all in Merfolk deck. So like what? Nikachu loves Mindspring. Yeah, I mean, I do know that the Merfolk players love Mindspring, and I know I might just be really wrong, and Mindspring might be good. I'm judging my Mindspring evaluation, I guess, on my experience playing against it, and I've not really felt like it's been impressive. You know what I mean? Also, another thing too is with Sygg, you have a new card draw engine. In addition to Sylvoon. Also, this deck has Flame too, so you care a little bit less about that too. Yeah, but I could see Sygg being good in like Quantum Energy. It's a mid card. We like it because it's the best we got. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But I do think Sygg is like in regular Merfolk, you've got Sygg, you've got Sylvoon as card advantage engine. I like it because it fills the one jump slot. I guess so. All right, let's top deck a twin. So they got one card in their hand, but a Quantum Riddler to power out. I guess we'll go Sygg, give Deepway Navigator the ability to draw a card this turn. Then we can play an Indestructible Sylvoon and be at 6 life. Pretty good chance we're going to use the lifelink mode on Sygg's command here. After also playing either another Deepway Navigator or a Hexcatcher. And then we could also copy another Lord. Opponent's playing a affinity value hybrid with Corey Steelcutter and Quantum Riddler. Did great in the recent challenge Merfolk this week. Went 4-2 with Sygg, was super key. Nice. Good feedback. Again, I don't play a ton of Merfolk these days. I have played a bit of Merfolk, but you know, these are just the opinions I'm going into the testing with, and I imagine a lot of them will change as usual. They might Aether Spellball my Sylvoon, I guess. Could they do? We've got 2 cards in their hand and a Quantum Riddler and Warp. Then Holy Heat my Deepway Navigator. Do I trade Sygg for the Monk token? I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I think going to 4 when they've got the Quantum Riddlers that they're hard casting is a bit scary. Redeploy. We'd also main phase the Navigator to play around disputes, and it's also unlikely that we would hex catch anything. So with Ward 1, we don't need to worry about this dying. I guess let me go play a Hexcatcher. And then I'm going to copy the Hexcatcher and give my creatures lifelink. I wish I could attack with the Navigator, but I do just think the 5 life is really important this turn. Stun counter lifelink? Oh, yeah, maybe the stun counter was better. Could also go and just copy, then stun counter. Yeah, sorry, I should have done stun counter. I guess we hold the Prismatic Ending too. We're gonna get the game stats with the card. So if you type !overlay, then you can get it for yourself. We'll just put your own username there instead of mine. Does this deck need more cantrips, ways to dig for combo cards? Maybe. I think it's very tough to like play something like Preordain. I also think you just kind of play a grindy game with like a good bit of card advantage until you eventually find your combo cards. So they play a second Mox Opal. I guess they're just getting their hand empty for the other Riddler. Then they repeal the Opal. They draw 2. Sygg fits really well into ninjutsu fairies. Three bad tribes smushed together, huh? We broke it. Doesn't look that bad, honestly. That's the most praise I'll give for ninjutsu fairies. Yeah, we played Vile Elementals. It went pretty bad, unfortunately. I did think it looked really sweet. I forgot Relic of a Bygone Age, that one. So these will be 4 power. This will be 6 power next turn. We probably will just send in with everything and try to surprise them with the Hexcatcher. Is it a draw 2 or draw 1 because Opal's back in hand? Oh! I guess it was just a draw 1. Huh. So no attacks from them. They don't have Rebuke up. They don't. They won't. They effectively won't have Heat up because we've all got Ward 1 or Indestructible. All right, great. Oh, but they cast it to draw 2 cards, sure. So if they try to block both Hexcatchers, they die because if they don't play around the new Hexcatcher, so that's probably worth trying to get them. They hedge their bets a little bit here. So they go to 1. Notably, that's not 0. Ending is good against, like, Repeal, I guess. Let's probably just pass. Scene 4 to 37. Thank you. Welcome back. So they tap the Saga for a mana. They get a Mox Amber. They've got 5 cards in their hand. It would be great to win game 1. So they cast a Lava Spur Boots. Cast a Tamio. The Tamio +1 thankfully doesn't seem to matter very much since any of my creatures connecting will be lethal. Looks like they have a Flame of Anor. Can maybe counter the Flame. I guess they can tap the Box Opal for mana now. They can't tap the Fiery Islet. So we've got Ward 2. Let's go and like make them pay the Ward 2. And then we kind of get to freely sacrifice the Mariner to counter this as well. And then they're going to tap the Opal. Have they already played a land? They have not played a land yet, but they have to have like exactly Urza Saga, really, since they have both basics in play. If we counter the Flame by sacking Hexcatcher again, though, then we can Prismatic Ending the Tamio for lethal. I think that's probably going to be fine. Seems like this will win almost all the time. Seems like letting this resolve is incorrect. Let me know if you just wouldn't counter it. I do think it's pretty close. Because sacking a lethal attacker here is like, But I think we just still get them. All right. Togo with the 32 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So we're up a game against the Steel Cutter Riddler version of Affinity. Hope you had a good stream today, Togo. I want the Meltdowns. Unsettled Mariner is, I guess, not that good. They just have the Unholy Heats, even though it was good that game, just not the best matchup for it. Do I want Fire Magics? Probably not Fire Magic. Maybe you just play 1 Mariner. I don't know that I want to play Ghost Vacuum for Emery or Subtlety. Yeah, I'll play 1. Name with the 12 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Sygg's Command was good that game also. 1-1. Sygg's Command being good, 1 being bad. It was just now. I think I lost. Lost what? Was there a prediction? Let's mulligan this. Yeah, I thought a little bit about the Grim Gully combo and Goblins. I usually hate the combo, but I do think with the Birthing Ritual stuff, maybe it makes more sense because you can combo a bit easier at instant speed. Maybe you can't, but with Persist and Birthing Ritual, it's like more interesting too. Maybe I should have kept that instead of going to 5. It's obviously not a great situation either way. I'm gonna put back Sygg's Command Steam Vents. I want to keep the Prismatic Ending for Tamio probably. Meltdown's also not amazing against them, but it's kind of like a cleanup kind of card. I'm actually going to go ahead and play the Tideshaper here so I can try to have just a wizard in play for flame. Oh, you know what? Maybe I just need to be hitting Saga next turn, huh? I've just seen your nick. Ah ha 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 ha. I'm on a multi 5. I'll keep second flame. We'll surveil into another one for sure. Another land, rather. Although they do have the Saga, so maybe I'm just gonna kick the Tideshaper. Although I could let them have the Saga because I've got Meltdown. I guess I'll just respond. Smiley face. Let me know how you would respond to this. I haven't been to a paper event in a while, but whenever I go to a paper event, there's always several people that go, "Hey, you're that streamer guy, aren't you?" And I usually go, "Yep." Always feels so weird, you know. Yep. Nick, I'm assuming means nickname, unless this is some kind of merfolk slur I'm unaware of. Well, my greed, my hubris are coming crashing down here. Oh, sorry, this is a 2/2. I could have attacked. Would you prefer they don't come up or they would say something more interesting? I love talking to y'all. I just prefer y'all treat me like a human being, I guess. It's like literally how do you respond to you're that streamer guy? Should I go, "That's me, aspiring Spike at your service"? You know, I is that what I'm supposed to do? It's very weird and natural. I don't know. I guess they don't have rebuke. They probably would have left the construct back. We draw the land. I think I probably need to go ahead and kill the Imri before I melt down here. Okay, I knew you would all like that. Sickos. Spike is cool but rude. I maybe I am rude. I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize if I'm rude. Just say yes. Okay, I'll just say yes. I'm just awkward. I've been watching Night of the Seven Kingdoms and I keep thinking Dunk is just like me for real. So we go play land, then Meltdown. I could pay for Rebuke or Dispute. They float a red mana. Let's go ahead and go to second main phase. We got 4 cards in their hand over there. One of them was a basic mountain. One of them is a Quantum Riddler, which is pretty scary. I'm at 5. Need some action here. I guess I'll just main phase draw 2. I've drawn a Sygg. Seems like I need to be able to be hit by a Quantum Riddler, unfortunately. So I'm taking 2 down to 3. They have 3 spells in their hand. Otawara is kind of interesting here. They main phase draw 2. I couldn't possibly imagine how their hand's that bad, but I'll take it. So I do think I need to start drawing a card or 2 with this. Do I Otawara the Tamiya? I probably need to be able to Otawara a Riddler. Still can't cast a Riddler somehow. Maybe they have another flame in their hand. I do think that that would unfortunately make some sense. That was definitely a reason to bounce. I guess they just replay the Tamio as the thing. Like bouncing Tamio is just not that good. Does seem like they've got a flame, so I guess I'll play the Deepway Navigator here. A Strict Serenade. Well, that's kind of a hard one to play around. We draw another land. They're looking for an Unholy Heat. Maybe doesn't find it. I draw a Sygg's Command. Pretty good pickup. Do I play it this turn, though? So I could go cast Deepway Navigator, copy, make a token, have Otawara for a Quantum Riddler, and then next turn I'm attacking for each Deepway Navigator is 4 power. The Sygg, that is lethal next turn, so let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I think I should draw a card instead of giving lifelink, obviously, or stun countering the Tamio. And then maybe I'm going to leave white up so I can draw Prismatic Ending. Yeah, lifelink seems nice. Yeah, maybe playing around the Dispute was nice too. The thing is, we have the Otawara to beat the Riddler. So I thought this plus Otawara next turn was kind of good. So Steel Cutter off the Tamio next turn is kind of scary. I've drawn Sylvoon. Does seem like I'm going to be safe enough with Sylvoon plus Otawara. So we got them down to 6 life points. Maybe I should have expected that. I do think with the Otawara we're still really safe here, though. At least for this turn. Sygg plus Civvy is a nice D-draw engine. I love the standards Merfolks have for their cards. I do think Sygg's pretty good. I think Sygg probably will be better in an Aethervial shell than in this shell, but I just kind of wanted to play it here first. Maybe it just still makes... It probably still makes the cut in this build. How do you make your decks before stream? Just ideas. Been thinking of some guys help me. I do everything on my own. But yeah, I mean, this has been my full-time career for like 7 years, so I've got a whole process. I spend time every afternoon and every morning working on deck lists. And usually I'm testing the decks off stream, but during set release I am testing them on stream instead usually. I feel like if I block, I'm going to get an Unholy Heat out of their hand and win the game. I do still have lethal in the crackback if they don't have Otawara. If I don't bounce, if I bounce the Tamio. So like we're still winning if they have nothing. I don't have a third Surveil land in the deck. I think I'm just going to go fetch to Thin. Maybe I die to the Steel Cutter though. So obviously we just want them to concede, if ideally. All right. So no white mana. They're on a mull to 6, so am I. I'm going to go and just put back the card I can't cast. Okay, so this is probably Mono Red Belcher. So I do believe Hexcatcher is going to be our best card of the matchup. Unsettled Mariner is also kind of fun, taxing the Belcher activation. Certainly feels like I am interested in not showing them that my interaction is, counter like 2 force spikes here, so we'll make them earn that information. Main deck Hexing Squelcher. I'm gonna try to. Maybe I should have tried to draw Sygg's command. I'm gonna try to get the block here. Maybe this doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Okay, I'm open to this having not made much sense. I should have just played the Hexcatcher. That being said, we're getting squelched. Not really much different from Spider Punk, right? Maybe slightly better. Now, this next turn I could go 3 mana. I should have played the Hexcatcher so I could Otawara this and then squelch potentially. I think that was funny. Music they should be clipped. Yeah, everyone wants the clips, but no one wants to be the clipper. March of Reckless Joy for 8. What? Okay, so this lets you play any 2 of these 8 cards. Okay. Oh no, so X is 6, but they pitched cards. So they're casting Desperate Ritual, and then they're playing a land, and then I guess they can cast the Belcher. Okay, they cast the Belcher, so I can Otawara the Belcher for a turn, I guess. Can this stun counter artifacts? Just creatures. So what's my out if I Otawara this? Oh, Flame of Anor. 2 looks at it. It's not too bad. Could us also maybe draw land and then draw second Hexcatcher. Maybe that's lethal. 5 plus. Yeah, we could also maybe attack and try to play to that, but if they block, it's kind of a disaster. All right, so we need to find the flame. Now? Mariner attacks and they'll draw land. They have enough mana to pay and activate. Yeah, if we had played a Hexcatcher earlier, I think we could have just won this game. So a little bit of overthinking here. All right, I'm gonna bring in the Force of Negations. Prismatic Ending for Ruby and Squelcher both seem fine. Mariner detects the Belcher activation, seems fine. So maybe it's just Force of Negations for Sygg's command. I guess the Damping Spheres are good. They are a ritual deck. We should play the Damping Spheres. So maybe -1 Sylvoon, -1 Sygg. I could see that being fine. Could also play maybe 1 less Prismatic Ending. I think I kind of like all 4 Prismatic Endings against Ruby and Squelcher. Damping Sphere also just good against the Stormscale Scions. Is Tidebinder consideration make over Tide Shaper, as you don't really care about the island effect since you don't benefit from the Island Walk Lord? So the thing is, Tide Shaper is the only playable 1-mana Merfolk, and I think you need to play a 1-mana Merfolk for Sygg. At the very least, I'm really interested in testing Sygg. That's kind of largely why it's here. Is just the ability to go Merfolk into Sygg. I think that I would not play Tidebinder just for mana curve considerations. I have 10 3-drops. Maybe if like if the command tests poorly, you could consider Tidebinder. Subtlety to counter Goblin. I think it's not probably a good plan when we have this many removal spells for it. Wouldn't have the mana for Underwear for Hexcatcher on 3. Yeah, I just could have Hexcatchered on 2, and I overthought it, thinking that maybe they would block when they obviously would not. Yeah, so you can do Mothdust Changeling if you Changeling if you end up being a deck that's playing some of the when a Merfolk gets tapped synergies. Is the 1/2 port Merfolk not a good 1-drop? I don't think it's very good. I guess it's kind of the other one. There's a couple bad ones. There's Curse Catcher. There's the one that whenever a player shuffles, you get a counter. But I do think Soul's Tide Shaper is the best. Like this Tron is very popular in the format, and there's a lot of utility lands to snipe, and it's a 1-mana 2/2, against islands. All right, there's the Squelcher. So let me go ahead and transform the Sygg. I like that this is a main phase trigger, so you just have the the info on if it's going to be correct to Sygg or not to Sygg. Yeah, I agree. Like maybe we need to be playing more one drops, but I mean that's also just probably going to be the like even if I'm playing more one drops, I'm going to play Aether Vial, and then am I going to play another one mana Merfolk? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But I don't know. I do think that the Merfolk are looking good enough that it's gonna earn a non-twin build stream too. The Brandy Wire Tapper's bad. It's a 2 1-for-1 that also taps stuff. I guess you link the card. I haven't seen that one. I looked at all of the one mana Merfolk. Wouldn't Curse Catcher protect the combo? Yeah, maybe Curse Catcher is the best, but I mean Curse Catcher is also not that good. So there's that. That has that issue. I don't know. Maybe they're all just kind of bad, and we're all just hoping. So best roll is a Flame of Anor. Getting pretty flooded this game. Mistcaller is a good one. Yeah, maybe Mistcaller is just good. I haven't played really at all with Mistcaller. I've played against it a couple times. This is like March of Reckless Joy. March was pretty good that game. This does look like March. Okay, so they exile Reckless. It's so hard to figure out what's going on with this card. So they did X equals 3. So like why? So they pitched the Reckless Impulse. They cost reduced it, and now they have access to Strike It Rich, Ironcrag Feat, which both seem not very helpful against the Damping Sphere. But we'll see. So they Pyretic Ritual, 3 mana floating. So the Ironcrag Feat costs 4, so they could go tap this 4, and then a Belcher would cost 6. It doesn't seem like they can kill me here, but they could maybe. Okay, but then they cast Desperate Ritual, which is that even mana positive? I don't even know. Let's find out. Maybe this is the dragons. Okay, so they Ironcrag Feat, and then they can cast the dragons. Although by my counts they didn't have enough mana, I miscounted. So I guess I'm gonna lose. Do I have any outs? I could put them down to 3. I guess maybe I boarded out my commands. I also just pretty flooded this game. All right, we continue. And like Ruby Storm is really trying to chain a ton of cards together, while that card instead is trying to find just find a Belcher to kill you. You know, Mistcaller hitting Living End, Blink, and even Stormscale Scion is pretty cool. Yeah, it honestly feels narrow. I think it could be a sideboard card. The problem is just like it competes a little bit with Ghost Vacuum, which you need for Flage. I'm dreaming of steel and oil. Yeah, they take my Sylvoon. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and main phase Hexcatcher for more damage. This is pretty likely to be Necro. Could be something else, obviously, but if it is Necro, I want the extra damage, and I'm gonna play the Hexcatcher this turn anyways. Maybe I mean they're just gonna Bowmaster me if they have Bowmaster. Mistcaller. Oh yeah, that's right. Mistcaller doesn't stop tokens. So let's put them down to 16. They take the Flame of Anor immediately, even though I can't cast it, and I'm about to hit them for a bunch of damage. So like if they had just taken my Hexcatcher the first, I guess I would play the second Hexcatcher this turn. I don't know. I'm gonna hit them for 5 down to 11. Now, if they do play Necro, do I even counter it? Looks like we don't have to answer that question. Bummer, tap land. Here's the Bowmaster, which I am kind of surprised to see. I feel like if I would have expected them to have played this last turn, I guess. They don't have an amazing block, thankfully. They're down to 6. I miss the Rhino's creativity living in Time of Modern where Hallowed Moonlight was a banger sideboard card. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot to like about MH2 Modern. Alright, so they are Necro. They play a Castle Locked Wayne, not looking too good here. I guess I'm just gonna cast this and give my stuff Ward 1. I'm only doing this because I'm playing Merfolk and people don't know what Merfolk cards do. If I had a more normal card we're playing, I probably wouldn't. But they just might brain fart, not realizing the text. Okay. Or if you're getting Mindspring Merfolk and Triton Wavebreaker as options, especially Mindspring. I mean, I just all these cards kind of suck. I know that the Merfolk gamers, they love Mindspring Merfolk. I legit think they're just conditioned into taking whatever they can get, but Triton Wavebreaker. As long as a permanent has creature has prowess and creature has prowess. So it's a 1/1 prowess, which is pretty bad too. I think we can just agree they're all mid to bad, and some of them are a little bit better. Alright, so the Hexcatcher is going to die if I attack with the Sylvoon. Let's go ahead and Surveil. And then they can chump block the Sylvoon too. Maybe I'll just attack with Hexcatcher. Let's see what's on top. Am I really going to draw that so I can twin Hexcatcher next turn? You know what? I deserve this. I think I will still attack here. I think I've got a good attack with this. Alright, so they left me with the twin on top, but that's okay, because now they don't have Bowmaster against the Sylvoon. I like surveilling first so I can plan my attack, but maybe, I don't know. You have Assassin's Trophy? I would love Assassin's Trophy so I could shuffle. They have access to a Hexcatcher off the Voidwalker. They do go ahead and attack first. If they do have Assassin's Trophy, they're going to want to do it now, so I shuffle or maybe upkeep. Okay, they don't have Assassin's Trophy. What do you have? They tapped green mana. Okay, they just punted. Great. They might cast this. They probably should just cast the Sylvoon, honestly. Well, that's not the worst top deck. Did you Necro? So, unfortunately, the twin is basically a blank card, because if they have removal for the Navigator, they're going to be fine, and if they don't, or maybe not fine, but they're going to go to 1 here, and they're going to die. They're just going to die to Deepway Navigator if they don't have a removal spell in the top 4. I guess this is better against Bowmaster. They have March. That's the best one. So now we're probably going to lose. No, it's not a slow roll. They're thinking about what they want to do with the March. They can be kind of necro locked here. We'll see. Although they're casting something big. What is this? Soul Spike. They go to 1 again. So if we draw a removal spell for the Voidwalker, they could maybe be locked. We'll see. We don't. Maybe I should have twinned the Voidwalker. Alright, so I'm going to bring in the forces. I do think I'm going to cut the twins in this matchup. Don't hate playing Subtlety either. Maybe Fire Magic's a bit better to be anti-Bowmaster. Just 1 mana, kill both Bowmasters. For Subtlety, hits Voidwalker and Shieldred also. We have Flames, which line up well against the Shieldred. I think I'm going to actually go down 1 Prismatic Ending and play 2 Subtleties. Their deck is just kind of clunky, and although maybe we found a new deck that's clunky and sometimes good, but I think they can get punished pretty bad by Subtlety. Unsettled Mariner might be our best card in the matchup. So I don't know if y'all can hear Lucy barking. That looks like Esther's got a So I want to keep the Sygg command just to test them some more. Now, I did like the Jeskai Twin build so far. That was the first time we cast a Twin, obviously an interactive matchup, but I have been liking how the Merfolk themselves have been playing. So I am a little bit interested in playing an Aether Vial build. I don't know if I want to do that today, but the Aether Vial build is like -2 lands, -3 twins, +4 vials, and then potentially prismatic endings are cut. Potentially the mana base gets changed some, but it's like I think you probably cut. You probably play the stun counter Merfolk over prismatic ending. Maybe not. But we'd have like 5 slots to play with. Maybe I would want to play like third Sygg command. All right, I called this the best card in the matchup, so we'll keep. How are we playing Twin and Modern Mist unbanned? Yeah, it was like over a year ago. They unbanned Twin, Mox Opal, Green Sun, and Looting in the same announcement. It was the best day, or second best day of my life. My best was October 26th of last year. Yeah, we did do the 24-hour Twin stream. Except for the whole breach staying legal part. Honestly, I the breach big, ban big, net positive. And it was much better than the previous Wandering Amped Raptor Boros. Moth guarantees the draw from Sygg better than Tideshaper, so that's my pro Moth argument. Yeah. I don't think I think that you sacrifice a lot of card qual. I think if you're gonna play Moth you need to be playing like the 2-mana enchantment that whenever Merfolk gets tapped to make a Merfolk, which you could do. Okay, so they suspend a Profane Tutor. We probably just want to play Sygg this turn. I want another one of these. Seems fine to transform here. This Sygg can't be blocked, so we could just give this protection and then attack with no fear of a Bowmaster. So we're going to be putting them down to 13. Do you have a removal spell? Seems like they probably have one. Nope. Well, at least not using one. Have I thought about the Metalcraft Wizard Shell adding the Splinter Twin combo? Not really, I guess. Interesting. They target my Mariner. Oh, no, sorry, they target me. I get the Mariner trigger though, of course. So this is implying that my opponent is not going to Profane Tutor for Culling Ritual like I thought that they might. I like playing Moth Dust and Mirror Ridgery with the enchantment in the Vial build. Yeah, I think it's a direction for sure. Mirror Ridgery is interesting. I think I was playing Mirror Ridgery. I used to play a Utopia Sprawl build of Merfolk that was comboing with Elven, not Elven's Farsight. The 4 mana enchantment, cast creatures from the top of your library. Creatures have the ability to tap for a mana. I played that with Mirror Ridgery, so you could cast it on top of your Utopia Sprawl land and just keep casting Merfolk from the top of your deck. And there's also another infinite combo. Yeah, that's through the Convoke draw, equal number of Merfolk. It's a direction. So I could go Toxic Deluge and sacrifice 2 Merfolk. Or sorry, Hexcatcher sack 2 Merfolk. I think I'll just let this happen. Opponents on Yogg. They're playing Necro. Yeah, Elven Chorus. That build was pretty cool. I don't know if there's like a direction there now. Remember you playing so many different Intruder Alarm builds? I feel like we had like one Intruder Alarm week. And what a week it was. Yeah, the Intruder Alarm and Sprout Swarm. I was really excited to find that combo, and then at the time and probably still now, like just making infinite creatures summoning with summoning sickness wasn't that good. I see a lot of Moonshadow Brews and Moxfield, any brews similar Kithkin. I'm working on a Golgari build, maybe splashing a color. And playing Hypotris Mark, Vampire Hexmage, the though that removes all counters from a creature, puts it on one other one. Just some combination of these cards. I'm working on it. It has it's not been like really easy. It has not. It's like I kind of like the Golgari. If we stay Golgari, has a distinct lack of card advantage, which is why I guess every Golgari player is like Urza Saga for Mishra's Bauble. I'm kind of looking at Nissa Resurgent. Is it Resurgent Animus? The landfall Nissa to put more Moon Shadows in your hand, plus Hexmage plus Overlord as card advantage. Feels maybe that's not even enough. So they Soul Spike my Sylvoon. Let's go ahead and pending this. White Tide Shaper over Mindspring Merfolk. There's just a lot of Tron. I think with the amount of Tron in the format, I'm like always playing the fourth main deck Shaper over Mindspring. I've also played against a lot of Mindspring Merfolk. I don't think that card's that good. If you do think it's that good, it's almost definitely worse in this build because we have Flame and we have Sylvoon and we have Sygg, so we just have a lot of card advantage already. I guess I'll draw now. I didn't have anything. I guess I could have drawn Force Blue card, although I don't even know that I'm using Force Blue card at the Necro because I have the other pending. Overlord and Rumble should be pretty good. I had Overlord. Rumble's like a little weird. It's good with Goyf. I have Rumble for sure in the Ice Till Explorer build, and I don't necessarily have it in the Lower to the Ground build. One issue also is that if you're gonna play Goyf and you're gonna play Moonshadow, and you also have this Kithkin, and you're playing Hypotris Mark as the enabler, and then you're playing Bauble Street Wraith because you're a Goyf Moonshadow deck. You probably should play both of those. The list is like immediately too full or almost too full. Um, so it's you don't have a lot of wiggle room, and I think like it's kind of just looking worse than Rakdos to me so far because you're playing all these baubles in your street wraiths, but you don't like have Detective's Phoenix, or you don't have Fear of Missing Out or Channeler to like also capitalize on playing all these cheap Delirium cards. What do you think of Storm Chaser's Talon? This deck as a one drop buyback flame is really good. I don't know. I think I've never been convinced that Storm Chaser's Challenge is a playable modern card, and it does like Storm Chaser's Challenge looks like kind of suboptimal in prowess to me, and so it's gonna be a very tough sell to want to play it in Merfolk. Is Night's Whisper too bad? I mean it's not too bad, but it has big diminishing returns, especially if you're playing Street Wraith. So I'm working on the Golgari build. I feel confident I'll be able to find a playable version. Not 100%, but I feel confident. Do we really care about a guy who can kick the island device shit? Well, I'm gonna make sure. Is it you I was responding to? Yeah. Okay. You just not listening to me. Maybe it's okay, but when you asked the first time, I said there's enough Tron and it's because of all the Tron. There's a lot of Tron. There's yes, we care about Tide Shaper, so we don't just auto concede to one of the most popular decks in the format right now. Yeah, that's a big part of the reason why we're talking about Golgari is you get to play Patras Mark and you also get to play the Kithkin, so you have redundancy to Patras Mark. I hear the Tron, but that's okay, that's okay. But that is why there's a lot of Tron, and that's why we're playing Tide Shaper for the main reason. Also, sometimes you do just mana screw your opponent with the island. It's kind of a cool ability. You also just play it as a one drop pretty often. I will cast this no matter what. I have my Necro Trigger Tide Shaper today. Def lost the game. Rough. I'll concede it's better than Mind Spring. I wish Merfolk had a powerful one drop. Yeah, we've talked a lot about Mind Spring today, and it is kind of a funny dynamic where Merfolk. I think Merfolk players have been so thirsty for a good one drop for so long. They're just anyone like that comes, any rare one mana Merfolk that comes along like Mind Spring. Y'all are just like, yep, this is my baby, and I will hold on to it forever. Might have been better to hold the Bowmaster. Like if they have a Soul Spike, like they probably cast it before the subtlety, and they don't get to kill it. They have shielded, we get to buy a turn against it. Actually, we just get to totally own the shielded because they can't draw it again. And also, if they're on March, then we could try to play around March. So that time's hard to tell. Talent is better in Flame of Anor decks because prowess, because you actually see the buyback ability. I mean, it just seems so clunky. Like it's 7 mana to buy back the flame and use it. I don't know. I feel like we have a lot. Like you just draw another Flame of Anor. I don't know. What would you be looking for a Merfolk to be really good? Well, it kind of it would. I would love if it could compete with Guide of Souls and Ocelot Pride. Man, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, or like if Tomio, just a Modern Horizons power level Merfolk. I guess this is a Modern Horizons card. All right, we're kind of necro locked here. Yeah, I think we could have just played around them being on March. All right, let's I think that I am liking the Merfolk stuff here. I think at the moment it seems kind of clear to me that the Jeskai Twin build we played last week was fine. But Twin in this build is just not looking that good. So let's cut the Twin stuff, and then try just to build a more Merfolk focused version. I think while we're here.